The international paper company, we're going to start with an American company. It is a paper and packaging company with primary markets and manufacturing operations in North America, Europe, Latin America, and Asia.
Big global player, although it's not too tremendously enormous, $22.2
billion in terms of market cap. PE ratio here 27.3 and a dividend yield of 3.4%. So the international paper company, your thoughts on international exposure when it comes to packaging and paper?
Yeah, look, I think you can get the international exposure right here in South Africa. You don't need to go to, offshore. Mondi and Sappi, those two in particular, sell predominantly into hard currency markets. So you can get that offshore exposure.
Well, let's have a look at the share price graph. And Paul, perhaps you can
It's done well recently.
give us
It's
your
sort of picked
thoughts.
itself up and moved back to this level. I mean, its all-time high was $57 odd in 2015. You can see it there. But you know what's interesting is it hit $4 a share. 4 in 2008, 2009, because it was very extended, had lots of debt, and people thought they were going to basically go out of business.
Not unlike the Old Mutual story, actually, Old Mutual PLC.
It's sort of battled its way back to health, though, and I think it's been because they've cut a lot of staff. Interestingly, if you look at like Wikipedia, it says they've got 65,000 staff, but if you look at the company website, now they've only got 50. So they've done a lot of restructuring in recent years.
Well, as Andrew said earlier, let's get into the international stocks, into the local stocks, which you can get international exposure from. Anything you want to say about International Paper Co before we call it hot or not?
Yeah, as Paul says, the share price has run quite hard, but if you actually look at the underlying fundamentals, they're pricing in quite a bit of growth. That the revenue has been flat over 10 years. Earnings have been fairly flat. As they try and move away from paper more towards packaging. They've recently done this acquisition of a pulp business, and I think the market's pricing that in, although it's still very small in the greater scheme of things. So if we look at the valuation just on a simple PE, which I saw up there, it looks at fairly lofty levels when you compare it to a Mondi or Sappi.
I take it you're not going to be hot on this one.
So not particularly
From
hot,
a valuation perspective, not attractive, hot or not,
Yeah,
Paul?
it's one of the old industrial giants. It was kicked out of the Dow Jones Industrial Average in 2004 for something younger, sexier and better looking. And that's the sort of story of the company here. Memphis, Tennessee based, but a bit of a sort of yesterday's hero. Bit of a value play, may look attractive at certain times. Yeah,
But you're going to go not hot.
I would say not hot. Looks a bit too expensive. Potential to stumble.